10th Planet shorts on, and he'll have the future rash guard, and you see him throw up the 10th Planet classic right there. He's going to be versing Charlie McCloskey, and Charlie McCloskey is out of Rising Tide. He'll be the guy without a shirt on in the black shorts here. Two blue belts getting ready to go at it. And we'll start with a slap bump. Mason and Charlie are fighting for inside. Reverses it pretty well. Big scramble initially. Charlie very heavy on the head. Definitely hunting guillotines. He'll be right back on the top. Mason on the bottom, Charlie in a guillotine. Looks like he has a fairly good angle, but he's going to need to come around a little bit more to finish. And Mason will actually come up to his knees, and Charlie will circle back around. The thing about guillotines is you have to be on the correct side depending on where your arms are. And he needs to control the hips a little bit more of Mason's. Mason's doing a really good job of just coming up to like his knees or to his side, which is going to make it hard for Charlie to finish that guillotine. We can also see he only has one arm in, Charlie does, and now he'll actually switch. Mason using his hips to invert. Could be a potential back take, but I think Charlie recognizes that, and he's going to posture up and get out of any issue here. Mason with his hooks in, coming up for a potential sweep, but again, Charlie, big head hunter, and he'll be right back into a front headlock here. Throwing his left leg over, he's looking for the submission, but Mason will take his head out. I think it'd be pretty hard to actually finish this against the cage and with the angle. What Charlie really is looking to do is take that right arm and look to put the elbow all the way down towards the chin. So this angle isn't going to be his best option for finishing here. He is, however, doing a really good job of controlling the head. This would be a good time for him to actually use that cage to his advantage to make Mason a little bit more uncomfortable, and I think he's kind of seeing that now, keeping Mason's head up against the cage. Mason does have a right arm underhook, which he'll use to come up and switch to top position. Placing Charlie on the bottom, who is going to be in an almost butterfly. He's on the left side. Going to try to keep with that guillotine, though. He is persistent on trying to finish it. Looking to get his right hand under. He's just not going to have enough room, especially going up against the cage here. Mason doing a really good job of using the cage to keep Charlie's back against it, kind of like grating against it. Here's a good opportunity for a body lock pass. We're seeing Mason's hands nice and low on the lumbar. He would be wanting to pass, though, to the right side, which is going to be fairly difficult in the position they're actually in because Charlie his body is against the right side. Charlie's right leg should really look to come in and re-butterfly, as it really doesn't have a point on top of his back there. And so he sees that, he comes up, looks to kind of wrestle up, but Mason's right back at it, keeping Charlie's body against the cage. Doing a good job of using that. Charlie, again, just on the head, non-stop. I would love to ask him ahead of time if guillotines were his #1 submission, because he has been on the neck non-stop. And Charlie will take the top again. Quick pass, right to side control, and right back to the head. I'm wondering if he would have a little bit more luck here, going north-south, or even like stepping over to mount. But again, needs to control those hips of Mason's. Mason's just doing a really good job of turning in, and then potentially he could come back up to his knees now or re-guard, which is I think what we're about to see. Very nice. Mason throwing over that right leg, and Charlie will flatten him back out.
We gotta keep him flat, Charlie.
Charlie continues in on the neck. It looks like he's he's on his right hand. He's been using his right hand every time, so definitely right hand dominant. Likes right hand guillotines. Just having a hard time getting that angle. Again, needing to get that elbow down more towards the chin. Not controlling Mason's hips, so Mason's able to come up and he'll take a seated guard. Looks like Charlie's almost like interested in playing on the cage because he backed himself all the way up, and Mason took pretty good advantage of that. Took himself right to the top and kept Charlie right against the cage there. He looks to step over to mount, but Charlie doing a good job of, again, controlling Mason's head, trying to keep that distance. I think he recognizes he could be in a fairly bad position here, as Mason has like a lower lumbar body lock again, and he is stepping over. He's already past the knees. But Charlie brings his knees in, which makes it a little difficult for Mason to get back to mount, and he will step almost to the side. Charlie catching a half guard there on the bottom. leg pummeling is such an important thing here, and I feel like, you know, being able to leg pummel in these positions would be very helpful for both players, such as what we're seeing right now. Charlie has that left butterfly hook, which Mason would really need to get out of. Otherwise, again, he would come to the bottom, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Charlie taking the top. Exciting for round 2. So no submission in round 1, which means we're guaranteed at least to go to rounds 2 and 3 at this point.
Yep, at minimum.
Just a side note with Arena Grappling today, we have 5 Star Productions, which is a DJ company that's come in, and they're going to be doing some of the music that you guys will be hearing on the card. Ready for round 2, door check. That means we're almost there.
It's going to be interesting to see if Charlie continues the pressure with the guillotines. We're back to standing immediately. Trying to keep that guard, but Charlie is doing a great job at just getting that head control and using that to pass right by the guard and really remove all the threat there from any sort of offensive guard positions. There he is again. He gets that arm wrapped right around the head and uses it to pass. But
what's interesting is Mason looks like he actually likes taking the bottom. He looks like he must be a guard player, whereas Charlie is more than happy to take the top, constantly into those sprawl and guillotines, whether it's arm in or out. It doesn't matter to Charlie.
Yeah, a lot of the time in jiu-jitsu you see a contrast between a heavy pressure wrestler and
Charlie's trying to use the cage too. He backed all the way up into it and then reversed the position, which was very smart.
This is one of the tightest guillotine attempts I think we've seen so far.
For sure.
He's got him up against the cage. This is similar to the
right
way that
Charlie
Jones
finished
Leona Machida.
See, I almost think it's going to be harder to finish once they get to the ground, though, because then the angle comes off. It looks like he's already let go.
Exactly.
Spot here.
Mason's doing a really good job at being on his hip and creating a frame and essentially creating a dilemma that forces Charlie to give up on the guillotine if he wants to maintain that top control, because he's threatening to explode out, which could potentially open up some counterattacks. So
I'd like to see Charlie try a couple other submissions. You know, we know he's got a good headlock here, but maybe mixing it up, trying to expose an arm, especially that right arm of Mason's coming through here. It's a little bit isolated. It's going to look to take knee on belly, maybe potentially mount. Are we in the mount? Nope, we caught a leg on the bottom.
That 3/4 mount now at this point. It looks like his pass is imminent, but since there's no points or anything under the arena banner, that doesn't make a huge difference to catch that foot there. But
he's going to go back to north-south. Again, needs to control those hips to keep his back flat on the mat. Mason doing a good job of using the cage with his right leg to kind of come up here a little bit.
He's trying the...
maybe a little wrestle up. Charlie's going to sit back again for that guillotine, and back to north-south we go. I think Mason's getting the idea of how to use the cage. Very nice transition. We went on a leg here and possibly a knee bar.
Open up the legs. Now this is your classic 10th planet.
Yep.
It looks like he's almost into that 411 honey hole position.
He really should control that right leg.
Yeah, he needs to put Charlie's butt in the mat. He needs to put him down. Otherwise, if Charlie keeps coming up on top and pressures out,
he's close to getting a fight on this.
Looks to spin underneath a little bit more. He'll be able to come back in through that honey hole spot, possibly get control of that secondary leg. This is that pivotal moment.
Yeah, and the fence is coming into play really big here because, unfortunately for Mason, he's not able to create any space and really turn or invert to come underneath because he's being pushed up against the cage.
For sure. Sometimes these 5-minute rounds feel so much longer. It's crazy.
They do. They definitely do. Oh, here we go. All right, now we're getting into a much more dangerous position here.
Definitely.
Mason's putting Charlie's butt back to the mat, and that's going to give him the ability to start breaking apart the grips and start isolating the secondary leg and eventually putting on one of his attacks, whether that's a knee bar or heel hook.
He looks like he's got good control too. He could take it even to take top position if he doesn't get the leg. He's in a fairly good spot. Charlie may be looking for an arm crush. It would be there. I don't think he sees it quite there, but Mason's still in a good spot. If he rolls through, he could catch a heel on the
Leg
exit.
isolated heel. Looks like he's under the heel. He's getting some.
Could do there. It's hard to see the angle we have here.
He can create some more rotation here. He does have that leg isolated. That is in tight. There's some decent bend on it. He might be switching towards a knee bar here, getting some sideways near lateral knee bar pressure.
Oh, wow.
If he comes off his elbow to his shoulder, yeah, it could have been a little better. I think he is out, though. So it's going to be Mason that's going to have to come back underneath and invert over his right shoulder to get into a better spot before he gets smashed here.
Yeah, Charlie's going to need to sprawl out and flatten him and put Mason's back right up against the mat. And really, he should be coming with his right arm underneath. Oh, there we go.
Nice round. No submissions after 2 rounds. We're going into number 3. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I think I would have tapped that heel hook onto myself. That was very deep.
They're also keeping a really good pace.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long we can hold up for here with them. I'm excited. They look good.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there was a momentum shift there. For the most part, all of round 1 and the first half of round 2, we really saw Charlie with the more significant submission attempts. And there to end the round, Mason, had that continued to go, there's a decent chance Mason could have finished from that position.
I agree. I think he's starting to find a little bit more of his game now. All right, again, round 3. Mason's got the shirt on. Charlie just the shorts. There we go. With the slap and bump, Charlie's going to back up against the cage immediately. Probably going to look to reverse the position here. He's got inside control.
And so to note, now that we're into round 3 and there's been no sub, any sub right now ends it. And that would count as the win. Even though it's best out of 3, and people typically think of that as 2, if we have draws in round 1 and 2, all it takes is 1 submission in round 3 to take it. We only go into round 4 if there's no submission in this round. Oh, this guillotine is tighter.
It was a good wrestle attempt though too. I think when he went for the guillotine initially, he was on the wrong side to finish, but now he would be wrestling up back to the right side, which is good.
Yeah, it was a very good adjustment. He had that under the chin, but you're right, he didn't have the angle.
Again, Mason looking to make some space here. Separate his chest from Charlie's chest.
Charlie needs to isolate that. Yep, he's got his head over there. And now he can start looking to change up his submission attacks and maybe look for coming around the back here and maybe locking up a Kimura on that top arm and maybe potentially looking to gift wrap. He's got a lot of options here.
For sure. He's got his back off the mat. He could step over. He could, like you said, he could arm bar. There's so many things. Good switch. You got a hook in, possibly a second hook in. All right, so we have Mason on Charlie's back, and we're a little over a minute in. Trying to keep good head control here.
It's really hard to see what's going on from the commentary table here.
For sure. We don't have the best angle here, but we know we got 2 hooks.
I can see.
Think possibly a peel?
Yep, he's got one arm. Can't see if it's under the chin, but he's pulling.
Tap. We have a tap from Mason. 120, around 130 on this one. Very nice finish. Came from behind, really.
Yeah. That's the thing with the arena event, with that momentum shift. That momentum shift didn't come until 8 minutes or so into the competition, but all he needed was 3 minutes or so of that time to really take the match.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I feel like Mason had a really good strategic patience to his game, where he almost let Charlie put himself out a little bit with those front headlock positions. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if Charlie's arms are feeling it, because that was a lot of guillotine.
My arms are feeling it a lot.
That was some good scrambles. When you get those smaller grapplers, those size, those youngins, they move quick. A lot of scraps. Go ahead and take a seat here. All right, so we have Mason Klein with us. Mason, how you feeling?
Pretty good. It's nice to do a different type of competition style, especially it's different doing the 3 rounds, so it was fun, yeah.
Good stuff. So I saw you said you were just at the finishers with a super fight. Is this your second super fight now?
Yeah, it's about my second super fight, yeah. I have some more coming up. Thursday I have one in Austin, Texas, and then
Oh, nice. What's that for?
10th play in Austin.
Cool. Good
And then
stuff.
another one coming up in the next finishers in February 26th. It's not officially announced, but I have an opponent. And then same thing, another Valley Super Fight. So trying to stay
Learning
busy.
it up. Good
Yep.
stuff. Good stuff. So we'll see you probably on the circuit a lot this year.
Yep.
You look great today. It looks like we
Thank
got a third round sub, rear naked choke, and a little
Yeah.
over a minute 30.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to shout out?
Shout out to all my coaches, John Blankford, Ricardo Pena, my coach here, Shane Mock. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. And most importantly, shout out to all my training partners that helped me get here. That's what it's all about.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for coming in.
Yep, thank you for having me. Everyone.